welcome to the Monday, the 14th of August edition of David's 67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Going today to talk a wee bit about second impressions of our 3-1 victory yesterday at Aberdeen at Pittodrie. One or two additional reflections to go with my live stream opinions yesterday afternoon. Also, few wee updates on transfer in and outs, deals that may well be going through for Celtic over the next couple of weeks, and tidying up a couple of wee loose ends regarding injuries. So, as I said, just a quick couple of additional reflections on Celtic's 3-1 victory against Aberdeen, having had a chance to re-watch the match, watch the highlights package on BBC Scotland, read through a couple of the opinions and summaries and YouTube vlogs of other Celtic fans, and having re-watched the match and considered all the additional new opinions and stories and evidence, I feel probably Celtic's best player on the day actually was Matt O'Reilly. Looked good in midfield, joined up well with into the attacking third, and of course scored a very impressive third goal, which tied up the victory for Celtic. I thought Callum McGregor, as always, quite an assured performance. Quiet performance, which often in his case can be a good indicator that he was being calming and controlling the game. Thought actually Mike Nawrocki was a rock in defence. Again, very uncomplicated, efficient performance. And the few times that Aberdeen did seem to be getting in behind Celtic's defence, it was more down the right via Ralston and Carter Vickers in the first half, which of course led to Aberdeen's goal. Celtic were a wee bit vulnerable to the long ball over the top, and so I do think boosting Celtic's pace in defence will be an important feature. Having said all that, also thought that Stephen Welsh gave a good performance coming on in the second half for injury, replacing Carter Vickers. Ralston did okay, better than they did against Ross County. I thought he and Welsh actually played quite well together, a wee bit better than had been the case in the first half with Carter Vickers. Was also very impressed, admittedly over the short period of time, with Yang when he came on as a late second half substitute, and Odin Thiago Holm, very assured in midfield, not terribly much in the way of actual good creative play, but again came on and maintained a lot of the good work that Rio Hatate's replacement of David Turnbull had, given Celtic a bit more control in the second half. Just a couple of wee updates. No concrete confirmation regarding the severity of the injuries to Carter Vickers or to Rio Hatate. Does appear that Carter Vickers was more of a precautionary measure, having had some tweaks and discomfort in his hamstring. Such injuries tend to be short-lasting, if at the very minor level of a few fibres being torn, and so could well be back into training full-time through the week and available for next Sunday's match against Kilmarnock in the Viaplay League Cup. Hatate appears to have had a calf injury, which usually takes a couple of weeks to settle down. Both hamstring injuries and calf injuries do tend to be the kind of injuries that reoccur quite easily if the player is rushed back to fitness too quickly. I do feel Celtic actually have quite a number of options in midfield if Hatate is going to be out for a couple of weeks. I think yesterday's match very much confirms that, as things are currently, O'Reilly, McGregor, and HATATE would be our first choice three midfielders. And I actually would be looking for, at the weekend against Kilmarnock, for Odin Thiago Holm to replace HATATE rather than Turnbull. Don't think Turnbull acquitted himself at all well, and Celtic played far better, far more reassured in midfield after Turnbull went off at half-time, and I see him actually more of an impact player coming off the bench in the future. The post-match comments by Callum McGregor and Brendan Rodgers were very much in praise of how well Stephen Welsh had played, given the fact that it was 10 months since October 22 that he had last played for Celtic. And I was also quite reassured with Brendan Rodgers' comments, indicating that Stephen Welsh is liable to be staying at Celtic for the next while, in that both Welsh is happy to be more of a backup squad player, coming in and playing as and when and being available off the bench. Brendan Rodgers is also keen to keep him at Celtic. Apparently, Welsh has been given the option of transfer away from Celtic if he wants regular first team football, but seems big Celtic fan and keen to stay at Celtic if he can, and is happy to accept the squad backup role within the team. The Brendan Rodgers and McGregor were both also very much in praise of the impact that Odin Thiago Holm and Yang had coming off the bench, and both the two of them did show quite a lot of good touches in their brief appearance in the second half, and I was very impressed with Yang's clever footwork to create that yard of space wide on the left of the box, crossing into Matt O'Reilly, who scored the third goal. Other news is that Alex Burnaby appears to have got back into Brendan Rodgers' good books, and despite the fact that he has got himself into trouble with a driving offence with the courts today, he appears to be back on in Brian, sorry, getting him mixed up with American football, sorry. Mixed backing Brendan Rodgers' good books as an option at left back and down the left side. And I actually would be interested to see how well Barnaby copes in a more advanced role, more of a left wing back, left wide midfielder role, rather than at fullback, as I don't think his defending is his best feature. There is ongoing speculation regarding further players coming into Celtic over the last few weeks of the transfer window. Last week, an inside source at Celtic was stating that Celtic's 4 targets remaining in the this transfer window were at centre back, where of course Gustav Lagerbielke appears to be in the process of being signed in the next couple of days, with a planned medical and final negotiations over contract and personal details. And happily, Lagerbielke came through his game for Elfsborg against Hammarby in the Swedish league, and appears to have come through injury-free, and again spoke of his great honour in joining Celtic, and that he was hoping to follow in the footsteps of previous players from his club and country, such as Larsson, Mjällby and Lustig, who all were great players for Celtic. Also, speculation was regarding Celtic's need for a further option at left back, also left wing, and goalkeeper. Inside sources at Celtic and at Newcastle indicate that Celtic are very much in the process of negotiations regarding signing of the Scottish international Ryan Fraser, who appears to have very much fallen out of favour at Newcastle. Fraser has been with Newcastle for 3 years, but has been playing less and less, and is now currently out with the first team squad, training with the development team, and no longer appears at all to be in Eddie Howe's plans at Newcastle. He is on at least £42,000 a week, according to sources at Newcastle, and so if he was to come to Celtic, he would need to take quite a considerable drop in weekly salary. However, as he is no longer in Newcastle's first team squad and no longer in Eddie Howe's plans for the team, and they appear to want to get rid of his wages off the wage bill and create space in their squad, it's thought that the transfer fee would be much lower than may have been the case before. And so may well offset his relatively high likely wages demand. He has, in the past, been a very successful player, primarily with his time at Bournemouth, and has had around 20 caps for Scotland, and was previously a regular in Stevie Clarke's squad. He appears to be more primarily a right winger, and so would be a replacement for Jota, but also can cover the left wing, and so could well serve as backup to Dyson Maeda on the left when Maeda is being used through the middle, and alternating with Leila Bada wide on the right. Of course, there is also ongoing speculation regarding a transfer of Leila Bada with Ajax in Holland and a couple of the mid-table Bundesliga teams in Germany, also rumoured to be in pursuing signing Abada, but nothing concrete with regards to that as yet. No other concrete transfer deals in the making at the moment. However, further to my video a couple of days ago regarding speculation of ANDRIY LUNIN, the backup goalkeeper at Real Madrid, coming in as a replacement for Joe Hart, given that ANDRIY LUNIN is a Ukrainian international, age 24, and in his final year of his contract at Real Madrid. The situation changed last week at Real Madrid in that their number one goalkeeper, Courtois, suffered a likely season-ending injury, to his knee, and Lunin played as first-choice goalkeeper at the weekend in Real Madrid's game against Athletic Bilbao. However, news earlier this morning was that Chelsea's goalkeeper Kepa has been sent on a season-long loan to Real Madrid, and Kepa would appear to be the first choice for Real Madrid this season, which would relegate Lunin back to the bench, and so would now seem to be an option again for Celtic to sign. There are no other goalkeepers currently rumoured to be linked to Celtic for a transfer, and the transfer of Dominik Livakovic from Zagreb to Fenerbahce now appears to be very much back on and is expected to go through and be completed this Wednesday. Celtic never seemed to pursue their £8 million option on signing Livakovic, but I do feel that goalkeeper is very much a position Celtic do need to look at. And although Joe Hart actually performed quite a lot better, a bit more good commandment of his box against Aberdeen, there were certainly a couple of rather shaky moments. No other news of transfers, loans in and out at the moment, but we'll keep a close eye on full confirmation of the Gustav Lagerbielke deal and also whether the proposed transfer of Ryan Fraser to Celtic also goes through, as review of several different Newcastle and Celtic and other transfer sites all do suggest that the deal for Fraser is a likely, although not definite, option for the two clubs. Thank you for listening today. Remember to like and subscribe, and also look out for the daily Celtic trivia quiz question in the community section of the David67 channel site. Thank you for listening today, and speak to you again tomorrow.